Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a review on this player called Aiaimama. So we'll be going through the daily struggles of a Master 1 player, and I'll try to explain what this player might be thinking and how this player can do better. Now we are going to go through with all the mistakes that Naga found out from this player. So in these case situations, it's a very small difference between a Penchan and a Rankan. So this player actually choose to go for speed. But Nagas actually slightly prefer to have more of a value here. So the balance here is that the one good point about keeping this 1-2M is that while keeping this 1-2M, you can actually hope to draw a 2M pair Dora, and then you can actually move towards Tan Yao. So I think this player is probably going to choose this set because she probably hates like the Penchan, or thinks that the Penchan is hard to form and prioritizing the speed Riichi. And why Naga choose 2 piece? Because of the 4-5-6 Sanshoku. And also there's a Aka 5 considerations. And so for here is a Sakigiri of a 2M. There's really no need for this 2M anymore. And take the best one Ishan 10 Riichi here. But for this player to take 2 piece because he's aiming for this Sanshoku while trying to keep this 2M Dora here. So this is the issue here when you try to break this 1M. When you try to float this 2M, the only value you can get is trying to pair it up. And as you are waiting for it to pair this lone tile, it's very difficult to, not difficult, but it's more problematic for you to counter attack when someone has to Riichi. So usually Ishan 10 is best to Sakigiri this kind of lone tile. Next is 7M versus 4P. Okay, so Naga thinks that it's still better to still push for value here. Alright, this is just a simple mistake of discarding your Yaku High first or Oya's Yaku High first. You always discard Oya's Yaku High first if you get to choose. Alright, this is the Dora Tong. So this player actually choose to discard the Dora Tong here. I believe from his perspective, he's going to be Sakigiri. And Nagas think that 8S is better. Alright, so this kind of Sakigiri is actually very dangerous. First of all, Oya has already 2 males. And these 2 males has nothing to do with his Yaku. Right? He doesn't have any Yaku. So it's quite obvious that he actually has Tong. If you look at Chun is being Pong, Hatsu is being Pong, there's only left with Haku and Tong. Can it be Honitsu? Possible, but the chance is very low because if Oya is going for Honitsu, he's not likely to discard Hatsu first. Or at least even if he's trying to push for Honitsu, that means his starting hand is not a very strong Honitsu hand. It's not very clear cut. And therefore he's going for maximum speed first by discarding Hatsu first. And when doing so is because Oya has a pair of Tong. So he's quite, in a way, reassured or going to rely on this Tong double Tong and go for max speed. Therefore, discarding this Tong here, in worst case scenario, it will be an instant deal-in, which luckily he didn't. It is a Pong. But after you Pong this, if Oya really Pong this Tong, right, here's the problem. What are you going to do to the 8S? The 8S is not entirely safe. So it's very important to discard this 8S first. And even if let's say you want to fight this hand, afterwards you discard the Tong. That's only if, when your hands really can get to fight. And that's when you draw things like 5P or 7P, then yes, I would think the secondary tone would then be important. Because after you created a ramen around the pinzu, your trice is again to oh yeah. Then you can cycle with the Tong. Okay. So yeah, so this is what I was talking about. And here, because AS is dangerous, Naga thinks that it's better to buy time first, discard 3S against a player who has already 3 mil. You need to assume a player with 3 mils is in 10 buy. Okay, this player choose E1P and Naga choose Haku. I think this 1P could be for a potential Itzu. Sometimes Naga will look at how to form a Mangan from the hand. And also 1P is more of, if you manage to pair this 1P, it is a pinful base hand. So I think Naga is either looking this more for Menzen pinful hand, one Dora, or Itzu potential. I think Itzu not so likely, but I think it's more of a pairing thing. That's why there is some chance that Naga is choosing this 1P. So for here is more clear cut. Lone 2 or 8 is more important than any Yaku high. So it will be either Hatsu or Haku. And I'm not sure why the difference here of these two difference of the bar. Right here this is a two blocks already. No drawing 3S will give you another ramen, but I believe this player don't like Penchan, just as you have seen from the 1-2M discard at the first hand. So he will always prematurely get rid of Penchan, which I think a lot of players have this problem. From here, it's reaching second row. Naga doesn't like to hold such life Yaku high, so you will prefer to discard it first and keep the 1 out Haku. Okay, now this is again Riichi, and Nagas actually recommend to fold, while this player actually try to push. If you look at this hand is how many shanten? It is like 2 shanten. So as a general rule of thumb, if you have a 2 shanten and below hand, you must always fold. Also, if you look at what are the tiles you have to push when you fold, how can you able to push this 1P when this Riichi is on a 3P? Right, this player has discussed so many Sozu, Manzi, and then Riichi on the 3P. That means he has a surrounding lower pinzi. 1-4P is usually the 1-4P or 2-5P is usually the main culprit here. So this is a flat fold. Not flat fold, but more of a clear cut fold. Here this player used 4M Nakasuji to fold. I think Naga thinks that is a better option, which is 5S. The reason why is because from this discuss, right, this player have to discard a lot of upper manzi. So below manzi is actually, it can be anything. It can be a Kanchan. Okay, maybe Kanchan not so much because 3, 5, 7 you won't have Kanchan, but Shampoo is more likely. For Shampoo, 5S to have less likely is because he already discarded 3S and 7S, especially the first turn. If you have 5, 5, 7S, you will keep the 7S first. 3, 5, 5, you'll keep the 3S till the very last minute before you discard it. So this 4M is more of blocking the Shampoo. Also, you have 2 5S, so this makes the player having 2 5S chance is even lower. Okay, this is a dislike of a Penchan again, you discard 9M. This is a 3M. So once you draw 7M, you'll get a Ramen Riichi. This player not only doesn't like Penchan but also dislike Kanchan. As you can see, a lot of players struggles with bad shades. Penchan, Kanchans always discard prematurely. Never ever discard these blocks prematurely. Always discard your lone tile first or your Ura Suji first. In this case, the Ura Suji here is 3M. You don't need 3M. The only useful tile you have for 3M is 2M, which again give you overlapping tile efficiency for the 4M. By the time it's way easier to draw 8P, right? Right, this is against Riichi. This player discard 4p. This is a push. Again, this hand is 2 shanten. 2 shanten hand is better to fold. Right, why do you fold with 4s? This is quite difficult. Even I don't understand why. Well, I mean, I can justify why 4p is more dangerous, but I do not get why the bar is not showing it. So if the bar is showing it lower, I'm not sure why Naga choose to discard 4s instead. But I will tell you what's the difference between 4p and 4s here. 4s, you're likely to get hit by 1 4s. Not 4 7s, 7s is already passed. 4p will get hit by 1 4p, right? So they might look like the same. But if you look at this player discarded 6p, then 8p, that means he's discarding one set above pinzi. When you do this, it's a higher chance that you actually have a lower set sozu, 1 4p or 2 5p set. Alright. For 4s, when you have an early discard of 7s, this is not a set breaking. This is just one 7s. Right? This 9s is Tadashi. So this 7s, it could be more of a, it can be a slide. It can be waiting on 3 6s. Basically, there are more chances of the middle sozu. So this makes this player having 2 3s a bit lower chance as compared to the pins side. Right? Okay, so since 4p has passed, it's a Suji, 1p is safer. Again, this is a breaking of Penchan. And just discard the Chun first. Not to also mention that, the Sanshogu is gone. Okay, AP Chi is going for Atozuke. And choose 9M. Right, so the standard play here is because you are going to rely on Hatsupong, right? That means your pair is going to be 4p. And you have to break one set. I personally will discard 7M first because it's more dangerous. But Naga actually choose 2p here. I think Naga is still more on max speed. That means if you can get to Chi 8M, he'll take it. So Chi 8M and then discard 4-5M. Yeah. If you are more conservative, or let's say you need you have quite a good score, then you can discard 7-9M and then keep one safe tile. But I think in this case, your score distribution is very low, and then your Oya, you have to use all tile efficiency that is needed, and therefore Naga suggested 2p. I believe this player, by instinct discard 9M is also again, doesn't like Kanchan at all. So he always like to break the Kanchan first. Right, so if you follow by Naga, this is when you'll be Ishan 10 and then you break for 5M. So this is a tile efficiency issue. Yeah, all these don't have much of a difference anymore. 7p or 3M. So this player discarded. Okay, so 2p just passed, so you just discard 2p. Since this hand has no 10, there's no reason to just risk anything, right? Right, this Yakuhai discard order is different only because of the Uradora. Since Chun is not seen, the chance of you hitting a Uradora if you let's say get pair and anything like that, yeah, that's the only thing. Okay, so yes, this is a 7S. You just need to pair up somewhere, 25p, 7p, or 9p. Even if you draw 8p, you then discard 3, 4p for ramen. So there's no need to. One way to look at the Kanchan is that try to see whether this Kanchan can form pairs. When you see Kanchan or Penchans with the possibility of forming pairs, they no longer is one-sided weight. Alright, or whether the tile efficiency is no longer one-sided, is 2 or 3-sided. So let's say this, look at this 7, 9p, right? Is the effective tile is 7, 8, 9p. Right? Right here, this is a Kanchan. I think this 1S discard is because of the Rangkan. Trying to make Rangkan shapes. Right, but this 7p discard is to form form your pair here, 25p here, your ramen here. After when you form ramen, then you'll proceed to discard 7, 8, 9s. You can also chi 6s and then discard 3, 4p later on. It's actually very weird that previous turn Naga suggested 7p, and then you draw back the 1s, and then Naga wants to continue discard the 1s. I have no idea why this is the case. I think Naga is programmed not to be inconsistent with the decision made. Oh, it could be of due-in rate difference. As the turn pass, 7p gets more and more dangerous. So I think Naga also is trying to think of a Sakigiri point of view to get rid of this now. Next turn, you see this blue bar got higher by a bit. See? So it does not want to discard 7p anymore. And that's why here, when Naga reach Ishan 10, Naga tends to push a lot more of the Sakigiri here. So I think this is a bit more Sakigiri. But of course, because it's already second row with 2 males, you can also assume that he's 10. But that's why you see, this is almost, it's just over 50% tenpai. You can choose to buy time and 7S, and therefore it's almost the same. It's almost the same. Right, just that given this cost distribution, this Sakigiri is going to be an offensive move. You cannot waste this hand. You cannot afford to be passive. And therefore, Naga choose 7p here. That's my suspicion. Okay, now you form a ramen here, although it's fully 10. Naga wants you to discard 2s, 1s. This is for going for more value. And I believe Naga, from looking at the risk, trying to put 7p and 8p together, is going to lead into a due in, and therefore he go for this 1-2s instead. There's usually sometimes, if you look at this player, he's already waiting on pincer, you should not be too fearful of free 10 anymore, because other two players are not going to discard upper pincer anyway. So this free 10 is actually not something bad. Yet you can have a potential your mental pin back. Okay, so this is where he deal in with 7p. One shot out, you discard shot first. And then discard the none. When you have no score, there's no need to keep any more on the top because you're not going to open your hand anymore. So you always just think what Riichi will do. Okay, I guess this is more of a speed. Looking at speed. Alright, this hand has already have 5 blocks. 3M, 1 block, 7, 9M, 1 block. And then this probably form 1.5 block or 2 blocks. And then your last block will be 9 and 7S. Since you already have 5 blocks, there's no need to keep this 1S anymore. Drawing 2 or 3S is not going to change anything. Right? It's not going to replace any of your blocks. So if you consider able to pong, if you pair up your chun, you can pong and then even move to a lucky toi toi possible. And therefore, it's better to discard the 1S here first. Once you have your 5 blocks, your lone terminal tiles are usually extremely useless. And that's when you keep Yaku high more. Okay, and that's all for this hand. That's the end of this review, and hope that you have learned a lot more from these player mistakes. And that's all for this review, and hope you find this useful. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I will be doing another video on this. It's going to be Master 2. So please stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.